Good day, my strong and powerful sisters. Today we're going to talk about something that is fundamental to our well-being, something that affects how we move through our relationships, our work, and our daily lives, setting healthy boundaries. As women, we are often taught to be nurturing, accommodating, and selfless. We are taught that saying yes makes us more likable, more valuable, more supportive. And while there is great strength in giving, it's easy to lose ourselves when we constantly give without limits. Healthy boundaries are the key to protecting our time, our energy, and most importantly, our sense of self. Setting boundaries is not about being selfish, it's about self-preservation. So today, I want to empower you to reclaim your power through the practice of setting boundaries, because without them, we leave ourselves vulnerable to burnout, resentment, and a lack of fulfillment in our lives. Let's explore why boundaries are essential, how to set them, and how we can stand firm in maintaining them. Why boundaries matter. First, let's define what we mean by boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what is acceptable for us and what is not. They are the limits we set in our relationships, our work, and our personal lives that protect our emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Boundaries tell others what we will and will not tolerate, and they help us prioritize our needs alongside the needs of others. But why are boundaries so important, especially for women? For generations, women have been conditioned to put others' needs before their own, to be caregivers, nurturers, and peacemakers. While these qualities are beautiful and necessary, they can also lead us to sacrifice our own needs if we aren't careful. The absence of boundaries can leave us feeling overextended, underappreciated, and depleted. By setting boundaries, we're not only protecting our time and energy, we're affirming our self-worth. We are saying, I matter, my needs matter, and when we do that, we give others permission to respect us and treat us with the same care that we give to them. Signs you need to set boundaries. Before we dive into how to set boundaries, let's talk about some of the signs that indicate you might need stronger ones in your life. You feel constantly drained. If you often feel physically or emotionally exhausted after spending time with certain people or engaging in certain activities, it's a sign that you might need to set boundaries. You say yes when you really want to say no. If you find yourself agreeing to things out of guilt, obligation, or fear of disappointing others, you're prioritizing others' needs over your own. You feel resentful if you're often feeling frustrated or taken advantage of. It's likely because you're giving more than you're comfortable with, without getting the same respect or care in return. You don't have time for yourself when your schedule is packed with commitments to others, and you're left with no time to recharge. It's a sign that boundaries need to be put in place. You struggle to communicate your needs. If you find it difficult to express what you need or how you feel, that's a sign that stronger boundaries are necessary. Does any of this resonate with you? If it does, you're not alone. Many of us have been in situations where we felt stretched too thin, unable to say no, or guilty for wanting time for ourselves. But today, we're going to change that narrative. How to set healthy boundaries now. Let's talk about how to set boundaries. It's not always easy, especially if you've spent years accommodating others, but it's a skill we can all develop. 1. Know your limits. The first step to setting healthy boundaries is to understand your own limits. What are your values? What do you need to feel fulfilled, energized, and safe? Take some time to reflect on where in your life you're feeling overwhelmed or taken for granted. This could be at work, in your relationships, or even within your family. Start by asking yourself, what makes me feel uncomfortable or drained? What makes me feel respected, valued, and supported? By getting clear on your personal limits, you'll know exactly where to draw the line in your interactions with others. Remember, boundaries are personal. What's right for you might not be the same for someone else, and that's okay. This is about your well-being. 2. Be direct and clear. Once you know where your limits are, it's time to communicate them. This can feel intimidating, especially if you're not used to asserting your needs. But the key to setting boundaries is being direct and clear. When you set a boundary, it's important to express your needs without apologizing or over-explaining. For example, if someone asks you to take on extra work that you don't have the time for, you might say, I'm sorry, but I'm at full capacity right now and won't be able to take on more. Or, if a friend is constantly showing up unannounced at your home, you could say, I love spending time with you, but I need you to call before coming over to make sure it's a good time for me. Notice how these statements are clear, polite, but firm. You're communicating your limits without feeling the need to justify or defend them. You don't need to apologize for taking care of yourself. 3. Practice saying no. Saying no is one of the most powerful boundary-setting tools you have. But for many of us, it's also one of the hardest words to say. We worry that by saying no we'll disappoint others, come across as rude, or be seen as unkind. But here's the truth: saying no does not make you a bad person. It makes you an honest one. Saying no allows you to honor your own needs and prioritize what truly matters to you. It's about protecting your time, energy, and emotional well-being. And the more you practice saying no, the easier it becomes. You don't have to give a lengthy explanation. A simple "No, I'm not able to do that right now" is enough. It's a complete sentence. Trust that saying no opens up space for the things you really want to say yes to. 4. Stand firm and follow through. One of the most challenging parts of setting boundaries is sticking to them, especially when others push back. It's normal for people to test your boundaries, especially if they're used to you being accommodating all the time. But it's crucial to stand firm. For example, if you set a boundary around your availability at work and a colleague continues to email you after hours, don't respond until the next day. If a family member tries to guilt you into doing something you've already said no to, stand by your decision. Consistency is key. When you follow through with your boundaries, you teach others to respect them. And let's be clear, not everyone will like your boundaries, and that's okay. Your job is not to please everyone, it's to protect your well-being. People who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. And those who don't? Well, their pushback is more about them than it is about you. 5. Release guilt and embrace self-worth. One of the biggest hurdles to setting boundaries is the guilt that often comes with it. We feel bad for saying no. We worry that we're being selfish or that we'll hurt someone's feelings. But here's something I want you to remember: you are allowed to put yourself first. You are allowed to say no without feeling guilty. Self-care is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot give from an empty cup. When you set boundaries, you're ensuring that you have enough energy, time, and space to take care of yourself so that you can show up fully in the areas of your life that matter most. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love, and it's a reflection of your self-worth. You deserve to have your needs met. You deserve to protect your energy, and you deserve to live a life that feels balanced and fulfilling. The benefits of boundaries: when we set healthy boundaries, we create space for so many positive things in our lives. We gain freedom, the freedom to focus on what truly matters, the freedom to prioritize our well-being, and the freedom to live authentically, without resentment or guilt. We also build stronger relationships. When you set boundaries, you teach others how to treat you with respect, and in turn, you create deeper, more meaningful connections with people who value and honor your needs. Healthy boundaries foster mutual respect, trust, and understanding. Boundaries also allow us to live with greater peace and clarity. When we know our limits and honor them, we reduce stress and overwhelm. We become more intentional with our time and energy, and we stop trying to do it all. We learn to focus on what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. Closing thoughts as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with this: setting boundaries is one of the most powerful ways you can take control of your life. It's an act of self-respect, self-care, and self-love. It's about reclaiming your power and giving yourself permission to prioritize your needs without guilt. You are worthy of boundaries. You are worthy of being heard, respected, and valued. Please like to confirm the impact we're making. Share to invite others to join the movement, and subscribe to become a part of our supportive community, where women uplift women. Empower her mind, igniting your inner strength.